Hello. I'm very scared to post this because I'm worried what the comments are going to say. So let me just warn you before we kick this off. Please hear what I have to say before you run to the comments and start putting like, woke, Doctor Who woke, your opinions are wrong, this is bad, you don't understand the show. This is how I took the ending of the reality war. This is how, with context provided in the episode, I believe Russell intended the reality war's ending to be taken. You don't have to immediately run to the comments and have a massive go. So please, hear what I have to say. If you hear what I have to say and you still disagree with it and you want to tell me why you disagree with it, you can do so in a respectful way in the comments. But please, don't just come and have a massive go at me. I'm just a geezer online who's trying to make YouTube videos. So, thank you. Now, despite what the thumbnail might say, I'm actually not here to defend the Billie Piper thing. I think the Billie Piper thing is silly and it sends us back instead of forwards. But I can understand why Russell did it. If the original plan went through and Russell just left it on a fade to black when Ncuti regenerates, the show is not getting picked up. Well, it might do, but the show's not officially getting picked up for a while, I'd say. We definitely wouldn't be getting a 2026 Christmas special if it went to black. 100% I believe that. And so I think it was a good thing to just throw somebody in there. Do I think it's good to be Billie Piper? No, but can I understand why he did it? Yeah, because it'll get people to come back and watch. And if people come back and watch, this is why Russell's such a good guy, because he's probably stepping down after the 2026 special, right? But he wants people to come back, watch that special and go, oh, Doctor Who, yeah, this is good, let's keep watching this now. So I do understand why he brought Billie Piper back. Like I said, I think Billie Piper was the best decision of who to bring back. And I don't think it was a good idea to bring back somebody from the era that he was originally from. He could have brought Karen Gillan back, or Arthur Darvill, or Alex Kingston, or Joe Martin. I'd have liked if Joe Martin was there. Not because I specifically like Joe Martin, because I never really understand why everyone says they love her so much. I liked her, but she had about 5 seconds of screen time, so I never really got the chance to get to know her that well. But if she was there, it means it could retcon the Timeless Child, so I'd be all for it. But he brought back Billie Piper instead, so I don't stand for the Billie Piper thing. I do stand for not letting it fade to black. We'd have had years to go without Doctor Who, I reckon, if it faded to black. But this isn't what I'm talking about. I am going to talk about the actual reshoots section of the reality war. For those who don't know, I'll just quickly breeze through it. The reality war was meant to end at like 45-50 minutes, where they give the baby back and Poppy disappears, and then they all forget and they have a big party, and then it's the end. This didn't happen because ncuti Gatwa chose to leave the show earlier than planned. Despite what they say, he left earlier than planned, right? Allegedly. And so because of this, Russell had to rewrite the script. He didn't actually rewrite much, he just tagged a bit onto the end. And let me just explain what I took from stuff that happened in the episode. This isn't me doing headcanon, this is from the episode how I took this ending to happen. The Doctor either knew or didn't know that Ruby was telling the truth, that Poppy existed. Because obviously he sat there like, Ruby, don't be silly, there's no such thing as Poppy. But he does wink at her, so he obviously knows, but then maybe he doesn't, maybe that was just left in by mistake, I don't know. So, let's say, for example, he does remember. And Ruby convinces him, Doctor, I was a baby you saved once, Belinda was a baby you saved once, Poppy still exists, you need to save her. He then goes, well, I enjoyed having Poppy. Belinda, you enjoyed having Poppy. Remember when they were on the TARDIS? People say, and again, if I'm wrong here, call me out in the comments respectfully. People say Belinda got forced into a life of motherhood she didn't want. Are we sure of that? Because in the Robot Revolution, I see Belinda not very happy. When she goes back to her shared accommodation and people have stolen her food and they call her by a name she doesn't like and she's just living in her tiny little bedroom and she's not very happy with it. That to me doesn't seem like she's happy in her life. She might be okay, but she's not like, yay, I love my life. Whereas when she's on the TARDIS with the Doctor and Poppy, she seems very happy. She's like, my daughter, we're going to take her to Carillon and wherever they're going, Mars or whatever. So, sure, I think, she didn't get forced into a life of motherhood she didn't want. But hear me out. The Doctor then goes, well, Belinda was happy with Poppy, I was happy with Poppy, I'm going to go save Poppy. And so he goes to save Poppy. He intends to just open up that crack a tiny bit, let Poppy back through, because she just disappeared, being his and Belinda's daughter. He goes, I want Poppy to be mine and Belinda's daughter. So he's going to go and shoot the thing into the TARDIS, shoot his regeneration in there. Somehow that brings Poppy back. This doesn't work. He ends up in Belinda's garden, scans Poppy like this. He goes, Poppy, what are you? You're 100% human, right? This makes him sad. He's then upset. He goes, Poppy, if I had a daughter, I wish she was exactly like you. Because he's upset that Poppy is no longer his daughter. And that is supposed to make us sad. Of course, because it's modern day, people immediately jump to the conclusion that she's been forced into a life of motherhood she didn't want. Okay, I don't agree with the fact she didn't want it. I don't think she specifically says throughout the series, I don't want to be a mum ever. And I think she really enjoys having Poppy around for the most part, outside of the Wish world. So, I don't think she necessarily didn't want it, but she did get forced into a life of motherhood. I agree with you, she got forced into a life of motherhood. But, that's the point. That's why we're supposed to feel sad. People see this in the script and go, she got forced into a life of motherhood, Russell must think this is a good ending, Russell's sexist, misogynist, cancel Russell T Davies. No, it's meant to be sad. Let me take a perfect example, and I've had beef on Twitter with this because so many people can't take that this is the same thing. And again, if you don't think it's the same thing and you have a valid point, leave it in the comments. Russell wrote a similar ending to this in Journey's End with Donna's ending. Donna got her memories wiped, and she had to go back to a life where she was depressed, had no one who really cared about her apart from her granddad. She wasn't happy, she was lacking stuff, she didn't really have many friends, and she hated it. She hated that life. It's fed to us multiple times throughout Series 4 when Wilf says she's better with you. Donna is better with the Doctor. She is. She has a better life with the Doctor. And so, when her memories get wiped, everyone goes, that's such a sad ending. Wow, Russell's a genius. He writes really well. It's such a sad ending. What's the difference? Because, yeah, Belinda's getting forced into a life of motherhood. That's bad. Donna is being forced into a life where she's depressed. That's bad. They're the same. In my eyes, they are exactly the same. Life where you're depressed, life where you're forced to be a mother. If anything, Donna's is probably worse, because like I say, I don't think Belinda didn't want to be a mother. It was never stated she wanted to be, it was never stated she didn't want to be. And she actually enjoyed it, from what I could see. So, what I'll say on this is, right, and people always come at me when I say this, and they go, yeah, but Donna would have died if like, the Doctor didn't wipe her memories. No, she wouldn't, it's fiction. Russell wrote that. He wrote that she'd die if he didn't do this. Which is, like, you know, it's a man sitting in his office writing a script. Doctor Who isn't real. So, yes, she had to go back to a life she was depressed about because she might die if she doesn't. But she didn't have to. Russell could have easily just made it where she gets dropped off back home, she's happy, and the Doctor leaves, and he's alone still. He didn't. He wrote it sad because it's meant to be sad and it's meant to make us feel sad. So, the same thing happened with the reality war. We're supposed to feel sad for the Doctor that his daughter's gone and is no longer his, and we're supposed to feel sad for Belinda that she's been forced into a life of motherhood. It's supposed to be sad. It's not supposed to be some meta commentary on women should have their lives taken away to be mothers. That's how I took it. From stuff in the show, not headcanon, from stuff in the show, that's how I take it. Now, if you've watched this entire thing and you think I'm waffling and you have reasons to think I'm waffling, please let me know. If I've offended you and I've said something wrong, let me know. But this is just how I feel. And the reason I seem a bit irate, more irate than normal, is because I have this conversation probably once a week on Twitter and everyone just goes, you're wrong, you didn't watch the same episode of Doctor Who we all did. And I'm like, but I did though, and I don't think Russell T Davies is a misogynist. So, come on. Look at the bright side. Is there a bright side on it? Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a like and subscribe. Like I say, let me know what you think in the comments. There's a button near the comments that says hype. If you could press that, that'd mean the absolute world. But don't worry. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed rest of your day. And ta-ra.